Hi everyone. So I'll have the difficult task of talking after the conclusion. But at least I will show you that there are some women also working on sustainable finance tonight, because we haven't seen a lot of them. But I'm happy to be here. Just a few words about Data for Good to begin. So Data for Good, 5 slides to present it. So Data for Good, we're a community of more than 6,000 tech experts, data analysts, data scientists, developers, designers, etc., that volunteer to help NGOs that need help and don't have the financial means in order to develop bigger projects and increase their potential and their impact. We've been existing since 2016, and we now have more than 6,000 volunteers, and we've worked on more than 120 projects. And so tonight, I'm going to show you, I'm going to keep some slides to be shorter, because we are all happy to have champagnes quicker. So I'm going to talk very briefly and go directly to our project. So our project is called carbonbombs.org, and it starts from one problem, and a problem that you all know. The fact that we have that currently extraction infrastructures already exceed the carbon budget that is required to meet the Paris Agreement. And as Fatih Bayral said, the director of the International Energy Agency, if governments take the climate crisis seriously, there can be no more investments in oil, gas, and coal from now, and he said that in 2021. So there should be no more projects. What we see today is that this is not happening. So what we wanted to do is empower the civil society and build a new narrative, as Bertrand Bade said earlier, build a new narratives on those huge projects in order to mobilize the civil society, the journalists, the civil servants towards this cause. So what is a carbon bomb? A carbon bomb is a hydrocarbon extraction project that generates more than 1 billion tons of CO2, which is equivalent to France's emissions for 3 years. Those hydrocarbons, they can be conventional or non-conventional. We took this definition from a paper research that tried to size the biggest extraction projects in the world in order to target our energy towards the fact to stop them, because they're the biggest ones. So they're stopping one of those biggest projects help us convey our energy toward big wins. And the idea of the project is that we have those carbon bond projects, but then we're wondering who are the actors that are operating those projects, and who are the banks and the investors that enable those projects to exist. So we're taking the problem on the other side, trying to stop the problem at the source. From the research paper, we see that we have 425 carbon bombs in the world, and that 40% of them had not been started by 2020. And the third really important fact is that those carbon bombs, they consume more than 2 times the carbon budget remaining to meet the Paris Agreement. So there's an emergency to stop them. But as I saw in all of your presentations, we're all aware of this fact. So what we did is that we gathered, the work that we did was to take 3 public databases and connect them together in order to aggregate the data and to be able to account responsibility to map those projects in the world, and then to be able to account the responsible corporations and banks behind those projects. There is a platform I wanted to show you, but that's the aléa of the direct. I cannot show you directly, so I took some screenshots. So here is a map of the world, and you can see all the little dots represent the projects, and the size represents the amounts of emission they can generate. And then if you click on one of the bombs, you can see the fuel type, the country, the companies that are identified in those projects, and the potential emissions associated to those projects. And finally, the very important information is, has the project started or not? But then, if you click on the companies, you can find basically the amount of carbon bombs that accounts for one entity, so the amount of carbon bombs who the company is responsible for. And then you can find also lots of information about, for instance, the financial institutions behind those entities that enable them to, that finance them, and so that enables them to create those projects and to run those projects. So that's a lot of bad news, because what I told you is that all those carbon bombs amount for twice our remaining carbon bomb projects. But the thing, and that's what really the narrative that is trying to bring this platform, is that we can still act, and that acting is vital because every tenth of a degree counts. So we can act two ways. First of all, by canceling all the future carbon bombs, because there are at least 125 carbon bomb projects that have not started yet. And then we can also act by gradually reducing the production of the ones that are already in production. So the principle of the project that we are gathering is it's an open source project, because the database that we built is open and can be used by any other NGOs or organizations that want to be able to access those information in order to increase their impact. It's also collaborative, because errors can be reported by the community and suggestions can help us improve the reports of the projects. And it's dynamic, because the database is regularly updated to take into account new discoveries. The objective of the platform is mainly three objectives. The first one is to raise awareness among citizens through a platform that really explains the big numbers and gives them power to understand the figures. Then our other objectives are NGOs, because we want our platform to be able to use as an advocacy tool to provide orders of magnitudes and figures to help NGOs in their advocacy. And finally, the other objective is to help medias and journalists to reach diverse audiences. And for the little story, after our platform was released, the word carbon bomb was elected word of the year in Belgium. So this shows you how raising awareness in media, etc., helps really raise awareness among the civil society. Because, as Bertrand Badre said also, we all need to act together. So just a few numbers about our impact. So we've released this platform with a consortium of 12 newspapers in an investigation consortium with Le Monde, The Guardian, The Spiegel, etc. We've had more than 50 articles in TV, radio, and millions of views on social media. And I think the most important impact that we had was that there was a Senate inquiry on Total Energy, asking about Total Energy's accountability on France's respect of its carbon budget. And in the inquiry, it was specifically mentioned that this study was a point of start in order to launch this inquiry. So this shows how also releasing data in the public can help other actors play their role in the change. And so what's next? I promise this is my final slides. What's next is that we want to update our database, because we've released this database in 2022 with data from 2020. And it's really, really important for us to be able to evaluate the number of new projects that have been released since then, because we need to globally monitor those projects, and also to be able to see if there has been some projects that have been stopped or cancelled, because it can help us build some new narratives around that and bring also new techniques to fight those projects. Another really important objective is, as I told you in the beginning, there are also new projects. Fatih Birol said there should be no new projects after 2021. So we want to add all the new projects on the map, even if they are smaller than 1 gigaton, because we believe that all new projects after 2021 are a huge threat to our objectives. And finally, on the platform, for the moment, we have identified the key players of banks and companies operating those projects, but we really want to add new actors that also play a key role in the happening of those projects, but that are less mediatized, and we need to account for them. So, for instance, law firms, parapetroleum companies, insurers, etc. So that's it, and thank you very much for listening.